Welcome to Option Trades Today. I'm Tony the Baptiste, and I have a trade idea from you today. Right here in downtown Chicago, right here in the Tasty Bat Cave. It is May 2nd, 2024. But as we always do, let's take a quick look at the market before we look at that trade. Even the S&Ps are up $18.50, about mid-range for the day. We've had a nice range already of almost 50 handles on the E-mini S&Ps. A handle is a point. We're up 19 handles right now. We're 19 points on the E-mini S&Ps. NASDAQ up 89. The Russell, the leader of the group, on a percentage basis, almost 2 to 1. You can see the Russell up 1%, the rest of the market up around 0.5%, with the Dow up 170. Volatility, a little peculiar today. It was catching a bid earlier today. Kind of led the market into a little bit of a sell-off. We were up almost 50 handles. Volatility started becoming bid. It actually turned green for a while. Down 38 cents. I don't know. I would key on volatility today. It's been oscillating back and forth, leading, I think, the market in its direction. If volatility goes lower, the market usually goes higher. If volatility goes higher, the market usually goes lower. If volatility catching a little bit of a bid as the market is moving lower, then to me it feels like the market's getting a little bit heavy. If the opposite happens, then I think the market's got room to run to the upside. Right now it's been a really complete tug of war, but you do have Bitcoin back up to $59,000 and change. You do have oil basically unchanged and gold basically unchanged. So maybe this market has a little bit of legs to the upside, as we always do for today. As we always do, let's take a look at our high option volume list. That's the list I like to look at. There are many lists here. You can do my watch list or anything else here, but there's a many list. Here's all the earnings. If you're interested in trading earnings, we got Apple today. I'm going to avoid that on this show right now. Here's all the futures, whether it be micro futures or any type of future that we offers here. Futures only with options here. Here's the liquidity, the high option volume list. That's what I use typically to find the trades. I know my son likes to use the NASDAQ 100. Again, it's entirely up to you what you find you like. Now, when you look through this list here, you'll notice this 5-day change is what I like to look at. When I'm looking for placing a trade to sell premium, I'm trying to go with those stocks that have had a high IVX 5-day change. That's that volatility index change over the last 5 days. I want to sell when premium is high. I don't want to sell when premium is going lower. I like to avoid the earnings. A stock that I found on my list that you may find interesting is Google. Now, you can go Goog with just the G, G-O-O-G, or you can go Google with the L. I believe the L is the one that has the earnings built in it and out of it. And Goog, G-O-O-G, does not, or the opposite. It really doesn't matter, but to me they both have around the same amount of option volume. I think the L is a little bit heavier, so that's the one that I'm going to take a look at trading. Now, why am I trading the L? If you come down here and look, volatility, now this is post earnings. All these other trades here, the majority of them that you see here, and I'm not talking about a $24 stock, and I'm not talking about, Humana, which I don't really trade. But all of these stocks have earnings that have this IVX 5-day change over the last couple of days going higher. Google has volatility staying bid post earnings, meaning Google has already had earnings. We can take a look at Google. It's up 1.5%. Volatility is up 1.5%, and it's got a good IV rank, 46%. Hard to find stocks after earnings with a high IV rank. The stock's up 88 cents today. Let's take a look at it from a chart. You can see here is where it had its earnings. It had that big gap, and it's come back in, and it's inside right at the middle of its most recent move, either prior to earnings or after earnings. It's right in the middle there. So I'm going to play this pretty much delta neutral. A lot of our research would suggest that stocks go sideways after earnings. This has actually been a little bit weaker, so I could see if you wanted to lean a little bit long, you certainly could. I'm going to play it right down the middle. That's my assumption. I'm going to let the stock beat me. With any strangle, where do I like to go? I like to go to around that 30 to 15 delta strike, anywhere in between here. I'm going to go to around the 20-ish delta. I'm going to sell the 52.5 puts, and I'm going to go not equal distance away, but I'm going to actually go just equal delta away. I'm going to go to the 180 calls. 180 call, 152 and a half put. You don't have to worry about these half dollar wide strikes. They're just as liquid as anything else. As a matter of fact, if you want to take a look at the open interest here, you'll see that the open interest is huge across the board here. And again, the open interest is not an indication of where the stock is going to go, but just how many options are outstanding, haven't been matched up. The buyers and sellers haven't closed both of those trades. This is a huge open interest. I would imagine the volume is quite good in here too. I have not looked at the volume yet. We could do that right here. Yeah, it's good volume on the day. Each one of these, my point here is the 52 and a half puts, the 50 puts, the 55 puts, they all trade around the same amount of volume. It doesn't matter that it's that odd price of 152 and a half. I'm going to change this back to probability of being in the money. You'll notice that probability of in the money and delta is basically the same. All right, let's take a look at this trade. 68% pop. I like being over one standard deviation or wrapped around one standard deviation, which is 67, 68%, so we're all good there. Theta decay, $9 a day for my risk that I'm taking. It does show you one long delta. You can see here 21 deltas versus 20. So yes, I have one long delta here. You might ask yourself, why isn't it exactly one? Well, we just round on the deltas per strike, and this gives you a little bit more of an accurate delta on the overall trade. Max profit, well, it's whatever I sold it for. I actually sold this for $3.75. Maybe you can get the same. Maybe you need the stock to rally ever so slightly or volatility to expand ever so slightly. $3.75 on a buying power effect of just under $2,100. Now, I have said this to you before, but I do want to show it to you. If you go to the follow page here and you click on Bob the Trader, you can see all the trades that I have done. Here I closed my Moderna trade. I asked this question to Tom today on the show. I had about 32 rolls in this Moderna trade that I put on that was originally a delta neutral strangle, 100 call, 60 put, and with the stock mRNA trading all the way up to, I think, about $150 to out the trade here. I was able to get out of it with a 70-cent loss. I was down $10, $12, $14, I think, at one point on this overall trade. And was it worth it, the 32 rolls? I don't know. The question doesn't have an answer. But if you stay mechanical, I think the difference between making money in this business and not being successful or as successful as you could be in this business is mitigating those losses when you're wrong, because we're all going to be wrong. Here's the Google trade that I put on. The stock now is 164. I put it on and change. I put it on when the stock was 165 and change. I sold a Strangle. You can see the IV rank is 47 and change. You can see the IV rank has come down a little bit in Google. Maybe that's the change in the credit that you're going to receive. $3.75 is what I got. Pop was 67%. But again, I put this on at 10:22 in the morning. If you're seeing this show after that time, or maybe it's too late in the day for you, you can always go to the Tasty Trade platform, click on the follow page, see all the trades I've done, Tom's done, and the rest of the team. You get that for free because you support us. And you support us by bringing your account to Tasty Trade. Please transfer, move, bring your account to Tasty Trade. If you don't have option trading privileges at the brokerage firm you're presently at, you're not locked into that. Come on over to Tasty Trade, click on the works, fill out the paperwork, and you'll get everything that I'm able to trade here and help us keep the lights on.